Okay. The time for convening has arrived. We'll start this evening's series of meetings. We'll start with our work session. The first item is the Capital Sidewalk Program Scoring Criteria Update by Mr. Martin.
Mayor and Council, good evening. In preparation for, let's see if I can get this to advance. Thank you. In preparation for scoring those sidewalk project candidates that are in front of staff now and updating those scores before the end of the year, that staff set that goal. And why before the end of the year? Well, with the upcoming year, we intend to update the Transportation Master Plan. If you recollect, we funded a Transportation Master Plan in the budget for this year. Staff wanted to respond to an earlier council request that we review scoring criteria for the sidewalk program. And in particular, the request was made for a density factor to be considered as a part of the overall sidewalk scoring criteria. With that request, and in advance of the next scoring cycle we intend to go through, staff proposes that we add a 0 to 5 point scoring criterion for density as a part of the overall sidewalk criteria scoring. The proposed methodology for that, and sorry, this slide hasn't been updated since we reviewed, they have a proposed update that I'd like to share with you. Let me put it that way. And that proposed density criteria would be based on density as defined in our current city zoning map. In that case, you see a score of 0 there for conservation or parkway. Truly be a score of 1 for that. So an update there, please, with that. And then the next score up, a score of 2 in this case, for RD12 through RD2, et cetera. Those would be the single-family residential areas. If you notice the associated key on the map, the majority of the city being single-family residential. 2 would be next, not 3, for those those zoning areas up to a 3-story limit. 4 for those up to a 4-story limit, and then 5 for all of those densities higher than that. The color coding on the associated map also relates to those scoring or zoning densities as related to the program. As proposed, the update to the scoring criteria for capital sidewalk projects would add this additional 5-point criterion into the already 55-point scale that we have with other factors considered. It would add 5 more points for an overall point of a 60-point scale when all considered, with density being one of those, now being one of the criteria, and an additional 5-point consideration. You would see how, so there could be some potential shift within overall sidewalk project rankings as a result of density being added, but there are also other shifts and changes within the dynamic of how projects get scored as well. Particularly, I'd call your attention to gap closure, one of those. As new sidewalks are constructed throughout the city, gap closure for some areas can increase on the 5-point scale there as other works are completed, and thereby creating a more significant gap closure score there. Roadway construction classification, for instance, not likely to change, but constructability, gap closure, et cetera, those two are dynamic along the way. So Mayor and Council, with that, this would be the updated scoring criteria. Now a 60-point scale with density as a 5-point value directly related to city zoning map for density. Staff would reevaluate all of the candidate projects between now and the end of the calendar year in preparation for the Transportation Master Plan update. And then probably much like we did, no suggested schedule for that yet,